In this video, we are going to learn how to inspect data types, and we are going to focus on text and numbers. So let's first check which columns should be stored as text and those that should be stored as numbers. So for text-based columns, they include order ID, customer name, gender, product category, product name, and region. For numeric-based columns, they include age, quantity, and unit price. So there are various methods to check if a column has the correct data type, and the first method is to check alignment. For instance, for text-based columns, the values should be aligned to the left. So, for example, when you check order ID, we can see the values have been aligned to the left when you scroll the first few rows. When we check for customer name, we can see the values have been also stored or aligned to the left. However, because we don't want to scroll down the data and check whether all the values have been stored to the left, we can use another method, which is the ISTEXT function. So we can create a new column, let's call it data type. And in this column, we can check whether maybe the entire column of order ID has been stored as text. So we are going to write equals ISTEXT A2. And you can see when it gives us a result of true, that means the entire order ID column has been stored as text. However, we don't want to scroll down to check if every value is true. So you can come here to the filter drop down and check if you have true or you have a combination of true and false. And as we can see, we have only true. So that means the entire column of order ID has been stored as text. You can do the same for customer name, gender, and so on and so forth. So for numeric-based columns, the values should be aligned to the right. For instance, when we check a column such as unit price, we can see some values have been aligned to the right, while others have been aligned to the left. So because we also don't want to scroll down to check whether all the values have been aligned to the right, we can use the ISNUMBER function. So we are going to create a new column. Let's call it data type. And we are going to use ISNUMBER function. So equals ISNUMBER. Which price is switch to? And as you can see, we have true and we have false, but because we also don't want to scroll down, we can use the filter drop down, and you can see we have a combination of false and true. There's also another method that doesn't require us scrolling down or using the filter drop down, and that is and ISNUMBER or ISTEXT function. For instance, if you want to check whether quantity has the correct data type, which is numbers, we can use equals and ISNUMBER. And here we are going to use the table 3, and the column is quantity. So you see we get a result of false. This tells us that quantity has a combination of text and numbers. But when you check using the alignment in the first few rows, we can see that the values have been aligned to the right, and that could tell us that quantity has been stored as numbers. However, when you use the and ISNUMBER function, we get a result of false. That means that some values have been stored as text. So those are the methods that you can use to check data type issues. After identifying data type issues, the next step is to fix the issues. And for text-based columns, most of the time after fixing the inconsistent issues, the data type automatically get fixed. So we are just going to focus on how to fix data type issues on numeric-based columns, and you're just going to do quantity and unit price. And the first thing is to check why the two columns have data type issues, or some values have been stored as text instead of numbers. So we are going to write the formula we had written before, equals ISNUMBER, and we start with quantity. So quantity is G2, and so we are going to come here to the filter drop down, and we are going to uncheck everything and just select false so that we can see why those values have been stored as text. And we can see the reason it's because it's written as text like 2. So what you are going to do is select that column, then press Ctrl H, and in the find what, we find 2 and we replace it with 2. Let's replace all. You can see we have made 57 replacements. Let's close and see if the data type issue have been solved. So you can see we have only true, so that means that issue has been solved. So the next thing is the next column is unit price, and we can write another formula here, which is equals is number and unit price is H2. And we are going to do the same thing. Click the filter drop down and we can check everything and just select false. And we can see the reason why we have, or the values there have been stored as text is because we have this $sign. So we are going to highlight that column, then press Ctrl H, and in the find what, we find the $sign and we replace it with blank. So let's check if the data type issues have been solved. So we can see all the values are true. So that's how we fix the data type issues.